Brian Toshbwana is my name. Umoja Conservation Trust is where we belong, and we're here for one purpose today. We're here to talk about the Uganda at 60 aspects. We're here to make sure that we explain to you the details of why Uganda is celebrating 60 years of independence. The major aspect I have for you here is one. Umoja Conservation Trust is calling upon every single Ugandan, wherever you are, to join our 60 million trees for Uganda at 60 campaign. This is very simple. Wherever you could be, plant a jackfruit, a guava, a mango tree, a coffee tree, whatever it is. Join us as we mark 60 years of independence by growing 60 million trees campaign. This is doable. We just did it in the Albertine. We've just launched the General Kaguta Community Forests at the Karujubu Primary School, where we feel every student should contribute to their own safety, to their own well-being, and create shade before they leave P7, at least for those in P1. What are we trying to do here? We're trying to create the Albertine green economy, an economy that is purely reliant on the green, on the trees. Trees that have fruit, trees that bear fruit, but the fruit that creates industries. We think this will help us contain not only the carbon emissions that are expected to be created from the oil and gas sector in the Albertine, but also help us create the necessary sustainable employment for the young people and young girls. Case in point, Uganda has an estimated 496,000 tons of order for jackfruit tree from the Middle East. This is actually supposed to be an annual estimation. Up to date, we have not yet satisfied that request, and yet we continue to be poor. We're in a very blessed country with over two, and I'm saying over because sometimes the rain seasons stretch. We're one of the few countries in the world that have 2 rainy seasons. Look at what we could achieve by concentrating on growing high-value fruit trees, and jackfruit being amongst them. Some of the key notable high-value fruit trees that we have in Uganda are jackfruit, guava, cashew nuts, coffee, bamboo, and candle nut trees. An example of the candle nut trees, give us an excellent avenue to participate in the Albertine green economy. That nut that you see is 68% biodiesel. That biodiesel is very influential in terms of raw materials for so many byproducts. That includes phosphates, fertilizers, soap making, name it. But again, that biodiesel will create the necessary mass for the 5 to 21% blend in the crude oil if our oil is to be marketable on the international scene. Again, my plea to every Ugandan, wherever you could be, join our 60 million trees for Uganda at 60 campaign. Join the efforts of helping not only the head of state, but the political leaders, the MPs, the local leaders, rally Ugandans on a daily basis, today going forward, to grow every single fruit tree that they can come across. If it's an avocado you've eaten today, if it's a jackfruit, if it's a mango, do all you can. Keep it, dry it, and on the weekend, plant it. Look after it, so that by the time we celebrate 61 years, your lovely tree will have been 1 year old. These trees that we're talking about luckily take 4 to 5 years to fruit, so it won't take you too long to get results. This is the game changer to employment. It's the game changer to sustainable industrialization of Uganda. But more importantly, these trees will help us create carbon sink for the carbon emissions that will come out of the oil and gas sector. Umoja Conservation Trust is an entity that was created by a few responsible citizens, most of which these citizens are retired. We are Ugandans who came together to rally international friends and fora, rally our colleagues from the region, East Africa and Africa at wide, to contribute our small brick towards conserving the environment in Uganda. This came up after we saw close to 3 million hectares of our natural forest cover decimated in the last 30 years. We feel that we can't keep pointing fingers. We need to come as Ugandans and contribute our effort and support government's big initiatives towards the conservation aspects. So Umoja Conservation Trust are individuals who have come together, the likes of Dr. Victoria Sech-Toleko, General Ivan Koreta, Justice Albert Rugadia, who is our chairperson, Justice Geoffrey Kiriabwire, who is one of our key members, Dr. Charles Kojo, Dr. Sarah Akello. These are brilliant conservationists who feel they should contribute towards the greening campaign of Uganda. So we are not an NGO, and we are not a funded entity. We are Ugandans who have come together, spend the little that we can make, create this vehicle that is sustainably conserving the environment. This vehicle intends to make funds from the trees that we plant. Our idea is to grow as many trees as possible within the communities, but then come back tomorrow and pick the fruit from these trees, sell it to the guaranteed market we have, and then plow the money back into growing trees. So it's not a funded entity, but we will come funding if it's available. Ours is to rally Ugandans, the private sector, the individuals, the schools, the business companies, whoever you are, join our efforts of growing these trees. It's the only sustainable way we'll protect our environment. It's the only sustainable way we'll minimize pressure of our huge, huge, huge challenge of losing natural resources. Some of the trees we're advocating for include bamboo. Bamboo is a game changer as we talk. Bamboo will give you shade, bamboo will give you food for your animals, bamboo will give you firewood to cook food at home. But more importantly, bamboo is a carbon sink. So if you look at these combined and look at the aspect of bamboo being a huge, huge source of raw materials for clothes, carpets, furniture, name it, medicine, I think that is the focus that we want to shift Ugandans, of which close to 75% of Ugandans are in the agro-processing and agriculture sector. We think that's where the game changer is, and hence our campaign for the 60 million trees for Uganda at 60. How do we expect to do it? We want to go to every school in Uganda. As long as you have 1 acre, you have 2 acres, every church, wherever you could be, whatever amount of land you have, allow us to work with you and put these trees there. The trees will belong to the community, the trees will belong to the church, the trees will belong to the school, they'll be planted by the community members, and we'll use these centers as centers of excellence to train our young people on the need to grow the trees and how to grow these trees. So it's our plea for every Ugandan, wherever you could be, as we celebrate 60 years of independence, just do the honorable thing. Just plant a tree, look after it. Take a picture, take a video, upload it on social media. We want to see this tree grow as Uganda turns 61 and 62 and 63.